Hey there YouTube, WhiskeyCactus here, welcoming you back to our Pokémon Scarlet and Violet Battle Stadium VGC ranked doubles content here on the channel. So this is the start of a new team. In our last episode, we finished with the first team that we were using for the first 3 episodes. This is a totally new team. This one is also homegrown. All of the teams that I'm going to feature on this series are homegrown, made by me. So take that for what it's worth. But this is a team that kind of focuses on Indeedee Armarouge. So Indeedee Armarouge is a combo that is very popular at the moment. So the reason for that is that Indeedee sets up Psychic Terrain by way of Psychic Surge, and this is a bulked out HP and defense Indeedee who gets Psychic Seed, Special Defense Boost, and Psychic Terrain, so that just kind of sets it up to be really bulky. It's not that bulky, but it's bulky enough that it can last a little bit and help enable Trick Room, which is the idea. So it has Psychic for damage, but also Follow Me, Helping Hand, and Protect. So Follow Me is good for getting Trick Room up, Helping Hand is good for boosting Armarouge under Trick Room, or outside of Trick Room. It doesn't necessarily have to run Trick Room. But we're also Terra Fairy for defensive typing against potential Dark types. There are a lot of Dark types currently in the meta, and this is a good way to defend against some of those. The other part of that combo is the Armarouge. So Armarouge here is a Life Orb set with Expanding Force and Armor Cannon. So Expanding Force is a really good move that works with Indeedee very well because it becomes a double target move in Psychic Terrain. So we get Stab Boost, we get potentially Terra Stab Boost as well, we get Life Orb Boost, we get Psychic Terrain Boost, double target Expanding Force, potentially even with Helping Hand. So that is a ton of damage, and it's very hard to take that damage if it can be executed properly. So this Armarouge is trained mostly on bulk and HP. It's got some special attack investment. It doesn't really need a whole lot of it because it is base 125. And then it has some speed investment, so it has like a nice middling speed stat that can take advantage both of Trick Room and also Tailwind. So there is Tailwind on this team as well with the Hydreigon. So that is kind of the initial combo. We also have Torkoal here to take advantage of the Trick Room if we do get it up. This is the same Torkoal from the previous team. Choice specs, Drought with Eruption, Heat Wave, Earth Power, and Solar Beam. 0 speed, full HP, and full special attack. So this is really just kind of here to fuck with weather, and also to take advantage of Trick Room if it were to go up. Additionally, we have Amoonguss. This is also the same exact Amoonguss from the previous team as well. Also really likes Trick Room. Also really likes the Redirection, right? So it has Redirection. It can get fast spores under Trick Room. It can just get slow spores outside of Trick Room. And it's just all around a pain in the ass. Additionally, we have a fast mode with this team. So we have Hydreigon here who has Tailwind, and it's even possible that we could use Tailwind and Trick Room together if we do Armarouge and Hydreigon, which sounds kind of counterintuitive, but if the opponent has Murkrow, they're going to set up a Tailwind, we can set up a Tailwind, we can also Trick Room, Tailwinds cancel each other out, and we still have Trick Room up, right? So that's a possible way to kind of play against Murkrow. Now, with Hydreigon, we have Terra Steel for defense. We also have Draco Meteor, Dark Pulse. We have Tailwind. We have Protect. This is a Focus Sash Hydreigon, which is not the ideal item, especially with Steel Terra. But the Choice Band, well, not Choice Band, Choice Specs, sorry, and the Life Orb are both taken. So there's really not a whole lot else we could do there. We could go with like a Fairy Reduction Berry, but that's really kind of what Terra Steel is for. So I wasn't really sure what to do there, so I just kind of went with Focus Sash, just in case we have Garchomp or Dragonite or another Hydreigon that wants to hit me with a Dragon-type attack, or in case we don't Terra and we get a Play Rough to the face or something. We have Timid Nature, so max speed, max special attack, so it's really just, it's pretty fast, and it can just do some damage. And then finally we have MOJITO. This is Girl MOJITO. This is not the same MOJITO that I used in my Pokemon Violet playthrough. It is a different MOJITO, but she is here with Flower Trick, U-Turn, Knock Off, and Sucker Punch. Choice Band. I could go Focus Sash on MOJITO, but then if I did that, I really wouldn't have an item for Hydreigon. So I went with Choice Band here. I will actually use Focus Sash Meowscarada in a different team in the future. But yeah, this is Choice Band Meowscarada. It is Overgrow. Overgrow is really good with Focus Sash. It's probably a little bit less good with Choice Band, but it is what it is. Protean just really doesn't seem that necessary, and I didn't want to waste the ability patch if I'm being TBH. So yeah, we have Terra Grass Flower Trick, which is really good. This is a really good counter to Dondozo. And we also just have Sucker Punch, we have Knockoff, and then we have U-Turn for the ability to just kind of pivot in and out. So Mojito's good for leading or also for coming in the back, so she just really just appreciates being part of the fight. So that's the team. We're going to use this team for the next few episodes, and we're just going to see if we can do better than our previous team. The previous team had a 5-3 record, so we're going to see if we can do a little bit better. So, as always for these, the rental code is down in the description, and I will flash it on the screen right now. So here is the team. Up in the top corner is the rental code NTBCM4 if you want to download this team for yourself and give it a try. So this team went over 500, had a 5-3 record. So hopefully we can do over 500 with this one. I think this team might be a little bit better than this team. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. It depends on how I play with it. But let's go ahead and jump on to ranked battles and see what we can do. So here we go. Yup, all the way back to the beginning. All the way back to the beginning. We are 5-3. Let's jump on in. We are going to not use the current party, of course. We are going to use this team here. And we are going to set our music to random and see if we can find an opposing trainer. Let's see what we got. If we can get out of Pokeball rank 4 tier, that would be great. Alright. So let's see what this guy's got. We've got Torkoal, we've got Indeedee, we've got Hatterene, we've got Farigiraf, we've got a Crabominable, and we have Grimmsnarl. So, this team seems like it wants to set up Trick Room. So, I'm kind of okay with that. I feel like we want to bring Armarouge. Maybe Armarouge Hydreigon. Feels pretty good. I don't really see much here that threatens Hydreigon except for the Hatterene. But we can always Terra to get around that. I feel like Mojito probably wants to come in the back because Mojito can handle quite a few of these Pokemon here. And then, do we want Torkoal in the event that they set Trick Room, or are they going to see my team and say, oh, you got Trick Room, I don't want to bring Trick Room? Torkoal's a bit scary. We do have Flash Fire on Flamberge for that. So that's not bad. Just trying to think if a Moongus really adds any value here. Doesn't really. I don't have setup on this team at all, so that doesn't really help me in any way. I don't know that redirection helps, but if they bring, I think I'm gonna go with Torkoal. I think I'm gonna go Torkoal in case they go Trick Room. We'll have Torkoal available. They haven't locked in yet, which is kind of scary. There we go. Okay, so it didn't end up going to timer. All right, so I think Armarouge and Hydreigon is going to be an interesting lead. I don't totally know what I'm going to do with it, but if they try to go Trick Room, we can kind of maybe take advantage of it on our end. I have a feeling they might leave the Trick Room option at home. They got Farigiraf and Grimmsnarl. Okay, that's interesting. So Farigiraf is going to prevent priority moves. Grimmsnarl's probably going to set up screens. The Farigiraf here, I'm not totally sure what it's going to want to do, but I don't really think that Trick Room helps me much at this point, so I think I'm going to go Armor Cannon into the Farigiraf. Do I want to do that? We can go Armor Cannon into the Grimmsnarl, and then I think we protect with Hydreigon, just to see if a fairy move comes out. So I think we're going to see a light screen come up. Farigiraf protects, that's great. Love to see it. I think light screen's going to come out here from the Grimmsnarl. Oh, it doesn't. Okay. In that case, we do a hell of a lot of damage. Maybe a Spirit Break into the Hydreigon. Yeah, okay. So that's cool. We got the Spirit Break into the Hydreigon, so we know that they've got it out for the Hydreigon. We can't protect Hydreigon this turn. So I don't know if I want to go Armor Cannon or if I want to try to set Trick Room here. I don't think I do. If I protect feels really passive. We are down in defense here, so I'm just going to go for another Armor Cannon on the Grimmsnarl. I'm going to Terra Steel, and then I think we go for a Dark Pulse into the Farigiraf. Farigiraf can't protect. So this will guard against any Spirit Breaks, it'll guard against any Dazzling Gleams, and we'll just kind of see. Hopefully that doesn't... I mean, Terrestrializing Hydreigon doesn't ever really seem like that bad of an idea. But I'm hoping that we don't... That'll probably make it live. At least the... Yeah. That's a bulky giraffe right there. And this is not going to take out the Grimmsnarl, probably, unless we get a roll. Yeah. Okay. So that's okay. Let's see what the Farigiraf does. Might Shadow Ball into the Armarouge. Oh, it's going to Trick Room. Okay. So it's going to go ahead and Trick Room. So my guess is Farigiraf is probably going to outspeed Armarouge under Trick Room. I feel like a Protect is a good call here. I don't think Grimmsnarl or Farigiraf really have any way of touching, what do you call it? The Hydreigon. So I think we just go for another Dark Pulse on the Farigiraf. So the last thing I want to do is take a Shadow Ball to the face here. So the Reflect goes up. I really don't care about that. At least I don't think I do. Hyper Voice. Okay. That's fine. They're not really putting on a lot of offensive pressure here, so I'm not worried too much about, like, stalling things out. Alright, so Armor Cannon. We could get the knockout here, and we could just go Dark Pulse on the Farigiraf. Again, I feel like I'm kind of being baited into something. Maybe Armarouge is just going to get... Yeah, Armarouge gets double shotted here. That's okay. That's okay. Because now we have Amoonguss. We don't have Amoonguss. I lied. I didn't bring Amoonguss. I did bring, though, the Torkoal. The Torkoal, which is actually better than Amoonguss. Unless we see their Torkoal come in. So I think Torkoal wants to come in here for sure. Meowscarada definitely wants to wait for Trick Room to expire. So Torkoal, on their end, would put some offensive pressure against my Hydreigon. But, ooh, we have Crabominable. Alright. So that's interesting. You definitely want to take advantage of the Trick Room. But the Torkoal is going to outspeed under Trick Room. However, that doesn't mean that Crabominable... The question is, what is Crabominable going to Terra into? We can't protect. Do we try to read a Water Terra and go for Solar Beam, or do we just go for massive damage? I feel like we just go for massive damage, and then we can... We protect. I think we protect Hydreigon, because I feel like a fighting move might come out. So this could be Water Terra. It's not. It's Wide Guard. That's a good call. That's a real good call. Okay. Yup. I'm glad I didn't lock myself into Solar Beam, though. So Spirit Break onto the Torkoal. That's fine, yeah. It's going to do a little bit of damage, but we resist it. Special attack drops. That's unfortunate. We could try to hard switch. We could potentially hard switch. How many turns of Trick Room do we have? Where do we have that? Here? Here we go. One more turn of Trick Room. So, do we stick it out, or do we make a hard switch? I think we stick it out. We go for another Eruption. That's an easy Wide Guard, but you're going to have to put offensive pressure on eventually. I want the Grimmsnarl on the field. I want the Grimmsnarl on the field. No, that's okay. I'll take that, though. I will surely take that, though. The Draco Meteor is probably going to be a bad call, then. I should have just gone with Dark Pulse. But we might... Yeah, we lose the Hydreigon there. That's okay. Because Trick Room expires. But we've taken out the Crabominable, we've taken out the Grimmsnarl, so we get to see what they have in the back. They're down to 1. I have a fast Meowscarada under, what do you call it? Choice Band. Trick Room's gone. It's the Hatterene. Hatterene could try to set up Trick Room, but we have to go with the Eruption. That's all we can do. And the question is, do we try to knock off? Do we want to lock into Knockoff? Or do we want to just lock into Flower Trick? What I don't want to do is lock into Sucker Punch, so I think I'm going to lock into Flower Trick. Hit the Crabominable. Then we'll see what Hatterene wants to do. Obviously, the Eruption's not going to do very much. But the Crabominable cannot be allowed to stay alive. So we get Crabominable out of here. The Eruption's going to go into the Wide Guard, and then we'll just have to see. A Dazzling Gleam might be enough to take me out. It goes for Psychic, though, which is interesting. Oh, I'm low battery. The Eruption, even if it did connect, wouldn't have done very much. Sad little Eruption now. I figured that Torkoal was going to take a shitload of damage. That's okay. So, the question is, does Flower Trick do enough damage that a Dazzling Gleam can't threaten me? That's the real question. I am locked into Flower Trick. Flower Trick's going to do a lot, but I know that Hatterene is bulky. The question becomes, is Hatterene able to get a Dazzling Gleam off into Meowscarada? That's dangerous. Do we live it? We don't live it. Oh. Man. I think... Protean would have been helpful there. I would argue that Protean is good on Choice Band Meowscarada for sure. We didn't really get to take advantage of Overgrow there, and potentially the Terastallization, if I had saved... Well, I mean, there wasn't really a way to guard... I mean, I guess with Protect, there was a way to guard against the Spirit Break from the Grimmsnarl. It's hard to say. We could have potentially preserved Terastallization, right? And then got it with Meowscarada, in which case we would have done a lot better. But let's see what we're working with here. We have got Dragapult, Honchkrow, Grimmsnarl, Toxapex, Kingambit, and Hatterene. So, I don't know if this is a Trick Room. It looks Trick Room-esque. We got potential Fake Out on the Grimmsnarl and Trick Room on the Hatterene, and then Kingambit can come in and do some shenanigans. Interesting to see Toxapex. And then the Dragapult is very threatening. Honchkrow also with crit chances and also potentially with Moxie. So what do we want to do here? I think MOJITO actually looks pretty good overall. But we need to pair it with something that's going to really appreciate its help. I think... Fairy Food just really doesn't appreciate fairy types at all, based on its name, clearly. But I think Hydreigon... I'm going to say Hydreigon and Meowscarada together as a lead feels pretty decent. And then in the back, the question is, what do we want to bring? Do we want to bring... Armarouge feels like a good idea. There is a bit of threat there, but we can bring Armarouge, and then I think Amoonguss might be helpful. Just for potential... Again, if they use Trick Room and we can get slow Amoonguss out there to become fast Amoonguss and get some spores off, that might not be a bad thing. But I think Meowscarada, Shiny Toxapex, interesting. Meowscarada and Hydreigon feel pretty interesting as a lead here. We've got Grimmsnarl and Honchkrow. Now, I don't know what Honchkrow wants to do. I don't totally know what Honchkrow wants to do here. This is a bit threatening. They could go Spirit Break into Fairy Food. I'm kind of... I don't want to say I'm okay with that, but I am kind of okay with that. Let's see if we can get Tailwind up. And then, what do we want to do here? Do we want to U-turn? Or do we want a Flower Trick? I think... Who do we have in the back? Who do I have in the back? We have Armarouge and Amoonguss. Armarouge doesn't really want to be out here. I think we're going to go ahead and U-turn into Grimmsnarl, and we can bring out the Amoonguss. Scary Face. That's interesting. Okay, you can't Prankster a Dark type, so that's clearly an interesting idea. Bring Amoonguss in here. So that will help preserve Meowscarada. We get the Tailwind up. And then what is Honchkrow going to do? Is he going to set Trick Room? He's going to U-turn. Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. I love that play. I love that play. That would have been bad news for Meowscarada. But yeah, if you're using Prankster, you have to understand that you cannot Prankster a Dark type. Okay, so do we think there is going to be a Spirit Break coming into my Hydreigon? I kind of feel like there might be. But Hydreigon doesn't really have much that it can do about that, right? We can Terra, but offensively, Hydreigon can't really do a whole lot. So I think what we might want to do is we might want to go for a let's go Draco Meteor into the Toxapex, and we go for the Rage Powder. Right? So that's going to redirect any Spirit Breaks. We have Flower Trick in the back, so that Light Screen stuff doesn't matter, and Reflect stuff doesn't matter. Draco Meteor does go into the Toxapex. It does eat it up quite a bit. And what is... You're going to Acid Spray. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Special Defense goes down. I don't really mind that. Okay. So I think... I'm not feeling like there's a lot of threat here for Armarouge. So I think if we get Armarouge in here, we can threaten the Toxapex a little bit. And I think a Spore into Grimmsnarl might not be uncalled for here. Or we could go ahead and actually Clear Smog. Clear Smog for damage. It's not going to do much. I think we Spore. Let's try to Spore. I don't really know that... Like, what's Toxapex do? What does Toxapex actually do, right? I don't know what it actually does. Amoonguss ends up being faster than both people on that team, which is kind of crazy. That's because of Tailwind. It's going to Acid Spray into Armarouge, which is resisted. Armarouge is certainly going to be faster than Toxapex, so we can go ahead and click Expanding Force. So that should be a nice play there. We can also potentially Spore, but I think Rage Powder is just going to be a stronger play here. So Grimmsnarl is going to take another turn of sleep. Or it could wake up now, I think. But it's probably not going to. Yeah, there we go. So it's taken 2 turns. It's almost certainly going to wake up again on the next turn. So here we're going to take a good bit of damage. What are you going to do? Do you have a Water-type move? You have Chilling Water. I was kind of expecting that. Hence the Rage Powder. So, I think we just do the same thing again, right? Even with Tailwind gone, I think we're still going to outspeed, right? So, and once again, we can go ahead and Rage Powder. Grimmsnarl probably wakes up. Gonna withdraw the Toxapex. I'm okay with that unless you bring in a Dark type. Honchkrow. There we go. Okay, well. That's unfortunate. But we don't get any damage taken. So I'm okay with that. Grimmsnarl wakes up. What's it gonna do? It's gonna Reflect? Alright. Okay. But we are stalling out the Light Screen. Well, we're probably not gonna stall it out because I'm sure that's gonna be Light Clay, right? Let's actually take a look. We've got reflect. It's not. It's actually not light clay. Okay. So we could go for the armor cannon. You know what? I think we do. Why not, right? Again, I feel like there's just no reason not to. We got the Rage Powder. I don't think either of these Pokemon get a move that's gonna hit both targets. Scary Face on the Amoonguss. Amoonguss is already slow enough. It doesn't really matter. This is going to do a bunch of damage to the Honchkrow. Even with Light Screen up, that's still a good amount. Brave Bird into the Amoonguss is going to take it out. That's okay. So Amoonguss goes down, did its job. So who do we have left? Who do we have left? We have Hydreigon, and we have Meowscarada. So I think Hydreigon wants to come in. And I don't want to Terrastalize, right? Because we have the Focus Sash. So I think, are we, how are we with Light Screen? Oh, Light Screen actually does have the Light Clay. Okay. Interesting. Oh, so it doesn't actually tell me about the IC. That's interesting. Okay. Alright, so we've got to be careful here. We know the Honchkrow is not super fast, but the Armor Cannon should take it out from range. And we can... I think we just set Tailwind again. I'm kind of banking. What are you doing? I was going to say, I'm banking on the Spirit Break into Hydreigon to keep pressure off of Armarouge, but you know what? I'll take this too. You can't prankster a dark type, guys. Lesson of the day. Stop trying to prankster dark types. It's not going to work. Alright, so the Honchkrow's down. Grimmsnarl's still here, kind of doing nothing, if we're being honest. So at this point, the Chilling Water is a bit scary, but we have the Tailwind back up. So I think expanding Force into Toxapex makes a good amount of sense. I really don't have a way to touch this Grimmsnarl without Armarouge, although I do. I have Terrastalized Flower Trick, right? So that's, I'm kind of keeping that in the back. Part of me wants to double into the Toxapex. I think that's going to be important. Toxapex could protect, but again, like, it's not going to, clearly, and I don't know what Grimmsnarl's, like, there's no offensive pressure here, right? So I just don't really feel like there's a lot going on that they can do. So again, we could see a Spirit Break come into the Hydreigon. We certainly can. And we're going to live it with the Focus Sash. So I'm cool with that. Right? I'm cool with that. So, depending on who the last Mon is, it's going to make things... It's King Gambit. Okay, so that's fine. We have... King Gambit's really slow. We do have... Tailwind up. My biggest concern here is going to be Sucker Punch. So I think what we want to do is I'm going to protect. I'm going to bait the Sucker Punch. And then I think I could try just Dark Pulsing into the Grimmsnarl for damage, or I can Dark Pulse into the King Gambit hoping for a flinch. So we'll see how that goes. So we are going to see a Terrastalization come out here on the King Gambit. It's probably going to be flying. That's interesting. I'm glad I protected. But the flying is actually going to be a bit of a problem for Meowscarada in the back. So, Scary Face again into... Okay, I was going to say again into a Dark type, because it was clearly not... The animation didn't trigger. So we are going to get Dark Pulse. That is going to be... a nice little bit of chip damage, and we get the flinch, which is actually really nice. Light Screen is down. I am going to go ahead and click a nice, fat Armor Cannon, and I don't want to... I think we protect. Because I don't want a Spirit Break coming into Hydreigon at this point. And I definitely want... We're setting the Light Screen again, that's fine. The Armor Cannon into the King Gambit should do a nice chunk of damage. Yep. That's good. Now, this is really the only offensive pressure they have on their side of the field, right? So this is going to be a Kowtow Cleave. Armarouge is going to go down. Okay. We do have Hydreigon here, still hanging on with 1 HP. I'm sure we're going to see a Spirit Break into it on the next turn. The Tailwind petered out. That's not ideal, but I'm not super threatened. Well, Spirit Break onto Meowscarada might not be good either. But if we Terrasilize Grass, I'm guessing Kingambit's not going to have Terra Blast. So I think we just lock into Flower Trick. And we should be able to... I'm going to go on Kingambit. I'm going to double into the Kingambit. Because we're still faster, right? We're still faster with both our Pokemon. There could be Sucker Punch. But Spirit Break is not going to hurt Meowscarada that much, because it is no longer super effective. And a Banded Flower Trick with Terrastalization should be enough. I'm hoping to take out this Kingambit. It sure is. So we have to worry now about the Grimmsnarl, which ultimately does not scare me that much. It was so important. So important to me to preserve the Terrastalization. I needed to have Terra on Meowscarada, right? I needed it. I had to have that. Hydreigon did its job. I'm so glad I didn't have to Terra Hydreigon, because making sure we have this extra stab on the Flower Trick is just beautiful. I can't think that there's anything this Grimmsnarl can do to block me out, right? Because all it has is Spirit Break, Scary Face, and Screens. So this is going to crit through the screens, and it's going to take it out and lock it up. Perfect. That is what I wanted to see. Now, we've been going a little bit long, so we went 1-1 on this first episode. I don't really think we have time for another one if I want to keep these within, like, 30 to 40 minutes. So with that, we are going to go ahead and wrap this one up. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like, and make sure you're subscribed for more VGC content in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, Battle Stadium, Ranked Doubles. We went 1-1 on the first episode with this team, which I'm pretty happy about. We're not going to continue battling for today, so we are going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Next time, we're going to continue with this team, and we'll do 2 or 3 battles, depending on how much time we have, and we'll see if we can do better than even. So I hope you're excited for that. I know I am. I will see you then. Goodbye.